How we doing there, YouTube? It's Kawaii50 here with another Fake Grand Order video for you, and today we are focusing on the Archer of Black, the Teacher of Achilles, the Support Archer? That's right, the Support Archer, named Chiron. We're going to be going over all of Chiron's special abilities and skills, what exactly is going on with Chiron's noble phantasm, and why people seem to talk trash about it, and the proper way to use it. And we're going to tell you the best ways you can make Chiron a indisposable piece of your team. Seriously, Chiron can hang with some of the big boys. Let's go ahead and start talking about him. All right, let's of course start off this video with the stats of this Centaur man. Chiron has a nice 12,250 HP to start with, and a not so great 9,294 attack. Now, Chiron has a quick Arts Buster deck with a single target Arts type Noble Phantasm. So if you might be thinking about running him as a more focused damage dealer, an Arts type supporter is the way to go. But something to completely caution you with, Chiron does lose out on max attack compared to Freebie Servant Chloe von Einsburn. And on top of that, Chloe von Einsburn rocks the same deck and gets an easily obtainable NP5 thanks to her free servant status. The same can kind of be said for Attila the Santa, who may not be as impressive right now with her quick type focus, but with Scotty, the quick type support caster on the horizon, her damage numbers are actually going to end up skyrocketing very soon, also leaving Chiron in the dust when it comes to 4-star single target archers. But that does not mean Chiron is useless. Far from it, and that does not mean his noble phantasm is useless either. So let's go ahead and start looking at some of the most useful parts of Chiron, namely these insane skills. Chiron's first skill, Mind's Eye True Rank A, grants this archer some survivability, anything we really want these servants to have. It grants him evasion for 1 turn and also increases his own defense by 10 to 20% for 3 turns. If you're using Chiron for a prolonged engagement, this skill is pretty great for him to have on hand. Unfortunately, again, I am pretty much forced to talk about Chloe von Einsburn. Chloe von Einsburn does have Mind's Eye Fake, which grants 18 to 36% crit damage instead of defense. Crit damage, far more useful on an archer, especially considering an archer is designed to sort of absorb those stars. But that doesn't mean that Chiron's kit does not come with crit damage. And the second set of skills is where Chiron's kit becomes really interesting. Eternal Dedication, rank EX, increases the entire party's critical damage by 30 to 50% for 3 turns. It grants 5 to 15 critical stars instantaneously, and this is all at the small price of 500 damage to Chiron. Something I will happily pay every single time this skill activates. This is an incredible crit damage support skill, one of the best in the game, and it's really going to work in well with a little strategy we're going to talk about with Chiron a little bit later regarding some other servants. But wow, even if you're using Chiron as your main damage dealer, crit damage is pretty much everything an archer could want. And crit damage on your entire party, just insane. And it's an upgraded intuition. We all know how terrible intuition is. Chiron's final skill is Wisdom of the Divine Gift, rank A+. This increases an ally's quick, arts, and buster performance by 20 to 30% for 3 turns. The potential for this skill is absolutely absurd. With this skill, Chiron is going to be able to provide a really large damage boost, NP game boost, and crit star generation boost to not only himself, if you will it, but whoever you want Chiron to be supporting. And of course, we'll talk about those a little later in the video. But this is a very powerful single target buff skill. I know a lot of people have talked about Helena Blavatsky's, another 4-star servant, a caster. Her skill being able to target the entire party. Really nice. but it's on a longer cooldown when completely maxed out, and Chiron's single target skill is a little more potent, and on top of that, you really want these to be targeting whatever servant you plan on going ham with on the enemy. Be it to charge Noble Phantasm, be it to gain critical stars, be it to just be your main damage dealer. Having that targetable buff for any and all situations is very, very flexible and very, very strong. So there are people out there who will talk down to you about Chiron's Noble Phantasm, considering it's not as adept at dealing damage as some other freebie servants. But it actually does have a lot of stuff going for it that makes it worth using a couple of times in a fight. Antares Snipe is a single target Noble Phantasm that removes an enemy's defensive buffs, and it activates first, which is phenomenal. The damage it deals is not super great, 900% damage at NP level 1, all the way up to 1500% at NP 5. I personally have an NP level 2 Chiron, and that jump from 900 to 1200% was a pretty noticeable hike in damage, making Chiron a lot better at spamming that Noble Phantasm, and I used him as a damage dealer in the Apocrypha event quest to great success because of that. So if you wanted to focus on Chiron as your main damage dealer, I would highly recommend at least getting him at NP2. This skill also has the bonus effect of reducing an enemy's critical attack chance for 3 turns, and that is a 20% to 60% reduction depending on the overcharge. So target your enemy's archers, target your enemy's riders, focus on enemies that are designed to crit you and crit you hard, and Chiron's going to be able to help them out. But it is that debuff removal, using it in the beginning of a long chain of Noble Phantasms to make your later NPs deal a lot more damage, is what is the true reason to use this Noble Phantasm. Now, I try to only mention bond CEs when they are fairly useful for the sake of length. I don't want to go over a lot of bond CEs where I just go, hey, this is trash, move on. Chiron's worth mentioning. The purpose of learning and teaching increases your entire party's quick and arts performance by 10% when he is on the field. So using Chiron in an arts or quick team with this craft essence equipped is going to grant them a little more oomph and is completely fitting with Chiron's supposed role as the support archer. Now, how can you effectively use craft essences in line with Chiron's role as the support archer? Well, I am very, very glad you asked. Of course, we're going to talk about good old K-Scope, good old Kaleidoscope. Perfect if you're fighting an enemy, you need to remove those buffs in a challenge quest. You can use Plug Suit, quickly switch in Chiron, instant Noble Phantasm, instant complete and total defensive buff removal from your enemy. That, in general, is just a really, really good quick switch-in. Doesn't really matter if Chiron dies at that point. His job is done. Blow all those buffs, remove the enemy buffs, you're good. Now, of course, I'll quickly mention some other Cs, and I'm going to bother putting up graphics for them. If you're not using K-Scope, you can always use Golden Sumo Boulder Tournament in order to help Chiron's damage. You can use Dive to Blue if you want to focus on more of that arts-focused damage. But these other 2 craft essences are where things get really, really fun for Chiron. Now, if you plan on having Chiron out on the field for a prolonged period of time, you want to give him a craft essence designed to generate stars every single turn, like pretty much every other support really, really wants. So I would absolutely recommend a Fragment of 2030 if you've been lucky enough to pull it from the gacha. If not, and you've been playing the game for a while, you have a pretty powerful freebie variant in the form of His Rightful Place. Both these craft essences will give you star gen every turn. They end up syncing up well with Chiron's second skill, and they are powerful additions to your arsenal, allowing Chiron's mere presence to make your actual damage dealer a lot stronger. But some of the most absolute fun you can have with Chiron comes from another freebie craft essence, and that is Golden Catches the Carp. Golden Catches the Carp's defining feature is the fact that it grants you 20 critical stars upon that servant entering battle. Used in conjunction with a level 10 of Chiron's second skill, that is an instantaneous 35 stars on demand. Whether you're switching Chiron in, or if you're starting a challenge quest, you can have Chiron in your front lineup. Immediately, Golden Catches the Carp is going to pop. You're going to get those 20 stars turn 1. Use his second skill, 35 stars turn 1. blow the rest of Chiron's buffs on your main damage dealer, switch Chiron out, and you've got a pretty powerful first turn. You even switch him out for another buffer, say a Waver, say a Merlin, a Caster Gil, Tamamo no Mai, Scotty. The possibilities are endless with this guy, and he's going to grant you a really, really solid, really, really powerful turn. If he eventually does make his way back into battle, he's still got all of those support skills he can use to provide you with all the help your character might need. Now, the biggest issue Chiron runs into when it comes to being a support is the fact that he is the archer class, and the fact that he's the archer class means he has a very, very good chance of eating all of those critical stars, and you won't really have a chance to use those to feed into your primary damage dealer. Now, there are a couple of ways of going around that, and a lot of that has to do with the kinds of servants you want to be running Chiron with. I would actually solely recommend at base, if you are not using a Star Gather CE on your damage dealer, to run Chiron with some of the strongest riders and archers in the game. The two most powerful options I can think of off the top of my head, one of them fairly related, one of them being my favorite servant of all time, boom, Achilles. Achilles is actually perfect with Chiron. He's got the Star Absorb, he's got the quick damage, he's got the target focus so Chiron doesn't die. Chiron can just feed Achilles all of his wisdom, bounce out, and let his Star Pupil do all the work. As far as powerful archers go, well, there's very, very few that can top Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh just good at everything. That extra damage against servants is insane, and he's still got that powerful star gen to sort of hang with Chiron. So if you got Chiron hanging around for a little while, you can go ahead, have Gilgamesh absorb those stars, and everything is going to be gravy. Any other riders or archers obviously go along with this as well. Some other powerful riders I definitely have to mention include Ozymandias, Quetzalcoatl, Sakata Kintoki Rider, Ivan the Terrible, who is supremely underrated. If you're looking for a powerful archer, well, of course, if you're looking super in the future, there's Super Orion coming up. Google him if you haven't. He's really, really good. You've got Ishtar. You've got Chloe von Einsburn. You've got Artoria Pendragon Swimsuit Edition. Lots of good stuff already in the game. But of course, any and all issues you are having with this Star Absorb are completely circumvented if you're just using Chiron to use Golden Catches the Carp, gain all those stars, and then immediately peace out to bring in another supporter. So in that case, you can use any of the other really, really powerful damage dealers in the game. You can use King Hassan from the Assassin class even if you want. Chiron is not going to be there to eat those stars. He used all his buffs. He's gone. You got nothing to worry about. So to wrap it all up, Chiron is an incredibly powerful support servant in a pretty weird class that requires some workarounds in order to utilize to his full potential, but every servant in this game requires workarounds to utilize their full potential, people. And if you use Chiron correctly, you're going to find that he is going to become a powerful cornerstone of your team. There's a reason I mentioned him as one of the best servants coming out this year. He's got that oomph. He's got those skills. He's got that buff removal. It's all good. It's all gravy. Go ahead and let me know any of your thoughts on Chiron down in the comments. Let me know if you think there are other craft essences he might be able to run. Let me know if you think that you have any other servants you would like to run with him, as opposed to the ones I've mentioned, be them on NA or beyond in JP. Maybe those of you playing 2 years in the future have some cool ideas you want to shoot my way. I hope you're all having a phenomenal day, and I'll see y'all in our next video.